Well, headed back in. This is the property we seen those 4 bucks on. Came back in the evening, seen that other buck and a couple does. So right now we're going to this spot because honestly, it's the only good spot I got. The other 2 spots turned out to be duds, so we're gonna be doing some in-season scouting. Fresh tracks there. But anyways, gonna be doing some in-season scouting on some other properties, trying to find the deer back again. But right now, this is the only spot we got, so we're gonna hunt it when we get the right wind and see what happens. Had a cold front come through the last couple days. It's about 50 degrees right now, so I've seen about a bazillion mule deer on the way down, so hopefully we see some deer tonight. I think we should. So I got one of the old super heavy tree stands on. We're gonna go ahead and just put a permanent stand up here because there's only one tree we can get in. We're moving trees, moving a little bit closer, moving in one of these cottonwoods. I'll show you that when I get up there. So we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully we at least see something. Well, finally got all set up here. This is kind of a good tree in a better spot. That cedar tree is just back over my shoulder, but all the deer have been walking out in front of us, so we decided we weren't going to wait any longer. We're going to put a tree stand in a different tree. It's kind of a crap tree. I mean, good cover-wise, they're not going to see us up here. It's in a great spot, but as far as getting in and out and how long it took me to put the stand up, it's definitely kind of a crappy tree, but I think it'll work for us. So we just need some of those deer to do what they did the last couple times we were out here, and we'll be in the money. So got everything set up. We're just going to leave this tree stand in the tree because it's the only tree here we're going to move to. We're not going to move anywhere else. So nice cool night. It's probably 45 degrees. So we'll see what we see. Well, we got a buck spotted, but he's probably half a mile away, if not. He's pretty far away, but I'm trying to tell through the camera what he is. I can see white, so he's hard antler already, but I'm not able to tell what he is. He's moving a little bit. He's stopped now, but I'm hoping he'll come this way, at least close enough to see what he is. It looks like he's got a decent set of antlers on him, so. Well, I got a better look at him here with the camera. I don't think he's a shooter, but I think he might be a nice 2x2 or 3x3 basket rack, a little something. But definitely see the antlers on top of his head, so he's got something halfway significant up there, but he just bedded down out there, I think, stood up. He just kind of meandering his way, kind of coming this way now, so we'll see where he ends up. He doesn't have that much time to get too much closer before it's going to get dark on us, but maybe one of his buddies will get here first if there's one anywhere around. Well, got the wrong wind today for me to go hunt my one and only spot here out west. So, like I kind of mentioned before, we're going to be doing kind of a in-season scouting tour, trying to find some more deer. So, this was a spot that I came in and scouted back in June. It looks okay. There's plenty of deer sign in there. I just didn't even know where to start with hanging the trail camera. So, we got a decent amount of rain over the last couple days with that cold front coming in. So, there should be deer tracks in the mud along the field edges and down by the pond that's back here and all that good stuff. So hopefully I'm going to use those tracks to let me know that there's deer in the area if we find some, and then let me know which areas they're using, hang this trail camera, and then kind of go from there if I see the tracks I want. So I'm going to be doing some more of this in-season scouting stuff hopefully this weekend, because we got a couple days where we got a north wind and a southwest wind, and anything out of the west just isn't going to do us any good to hunt that spot. It's going to Right now, I don't think the deer there even know they're being hunted. So we want to keep it that way. So we're only going to hunt it on our perfect wind. So probably won't be hunting this weekend. I won't anyways, Brody will, but I'm going to be doing some scouting, trying to find some more properties. So that's what I'm out doing today. Hopefully we find some deer tracks, some deer sign back in here, find a spot to hang this camera, and maybe find another good spot for us to come hunt. Got up here, this is what I looked at last time, and there's quite a bit of activity going through this little gap. Probably can see the trail's pretty beat down coming through here. There's a trail crossing right here going back and forth up this way, kind of going by those cottonwood trees there. So might have to walk down those cottonwood trees here in a little bit, but we're going to go up that way, see if we can't kind of follow it. I think that's where it's headed. So going to go up there, loop back around, and then maybe check out those cottonwood trees, see if there's a spot to sit there. Might not be a bad spot. It's kind of out in the middle, but it'll allow us to see everything, see stuff coming and going, so might not be a bad spot. Same with this. Like, what is this? I don't know if it's cows or not. There's deer tracks on it, but it is so beat down, like it should be a cow trail, but I'm not seeing any fresh cattle sign. The grass isn't completely mowed down. There's no spots below the trees, you know, where cattle stand in the shade and just tear everything apart. There's tons of deer tracks, tons of deer poop, no fresh cattle, you know, poop or anything on there. So I don't know if that's deer. I'm coming down this weekend. I almost might have to anyways, regardless of what this camera gets on it, because jeez. Like, if this is a deer trail, it's the most heavily used deer trail I've ever seen. Those are definitely like big buck tracks. We're gonna find a spot to hunt here for sure. So a couple things happened there. As I was coming up out of this bottom, there was a doe walking across, she worked her way up the hill, and then stopped right there by that tree that I was standing at earlier. So first thing, now we know there's deer down here. These major trails weren't telling us that before. Two, I know last time we did an in-season scouting video, that's probably last year, got quite a few comments on why we were scouting in season, and this is exactly why. Because if we don't come back here, if I write it off because it didn't look good in June, then how do you ever know there's deer obviously back here? If you're not seeing the deer, you gotta do something. And scouting in season, finding that hot sign and where the deer are, is super important. And the other thing, you're gonna spook deer when you're scouting. It's not worth it. You're in season, you shouldn't be spooking deer. That doe just walked up the hill, literally stood under the tree I was at, probably not even 5 minutes ago, and just kept walking up the hill, and it's perfectly fine. Didn't even know I was here. She literally stood under the same tree. So just because you go scout doesn't mean you're going to spook deer. So just a couple things on our in-season scouting. I know we get quite a few comments on why we do in-season scouting, but this is why, and hopefully when we come back we can show you the buck as proof as why too. So we're going to find a spot here, and I think, man, there's just big buck tracks everywhere on this. But I think we're going to find a spot on this side, because we're going to have a northwest wind, which will blow our scent back this way, which we're going to have to come in from that direction. So if there's anything down there, it's just going to be a risk we're going to have to take, but it might just blow it up over the top of them anyways. We're going to find tree stand locations, maybe on all sides. That'll let us hunt whenever we want to. And then we're going to find an access route. That's going to be the hard part on this property. How this thing sets up is finding the access route in or out. And then if we can get in the morning or in the evening, I'm going to do some talking with Brody. He's the morning or evening expert how to get in when you need a sounding board. I always ask him. So we're going to see what he thinks as far as getting in. We would have made it in today. If we were hunting, there was nothing bedded right here close enough that we bumped. So I think we can get in the evenings, and I think we can get in the mornings too. So, but let's find a tree. I think one of these will work good. Let's see what we can find. So I'm standing right now where all of these trails come together, and that's the tree we're going to get in right back there. So it's about 20 yards perfect on the dot right here. perfect shot, exactly what we're looking for. So here on that side, see if there's one on this side. Maybe there might not be one on this side. Yeah, there's not going to be one on this side, but we'll see about maybe putting that trail camera on that tree right there, facing it out this way. Alright, trail camera up, pointed it right out at this trail, perfect spot for it. So we'll see what that gets on it. I'm excited to see what that gets on it. So I think we're all set for right down here. We got our tree on this kind of dam right here. Big old buck tracks all over it. That'll be awesome. And I think we'll get in that tree right there. Well, back this morning to that kind of new piece of property I scouted yesterday. So, great morning, about 50 degrees or so. Just, it's probably been half an hour, probably an hour since daylight, but half an hour since sunrise officially. And had a doe and a fawn come up over the hill, walk down in, cross through this little cottonwood draw, and go up the other side. So that's all I've seen so far, just that whitetail doe and fawn. So hoping maybe to see a buck coming back this morning, but you never know. So he might be behind the doe and the fawn. We'll see, but at least we've seen something this morning. So sit the rest of the morning, see what else comes through. Well, sat for a couple hours this morning, had that doe and fawn come down here, then had a doe with two fawns come over that same hill, go a little bit farther that way. So just a couple does, a few fawns this morning's all. So no bucks, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but we're seeing deer. So we're seeing deer. It's a good morning. It's only a matter of time before we get those bucks location pinned down a little bit more. So climb down, move the stand, go home, and then we'll be back here this evening. Hopefully we see a buck this evening.